Hello and welcome to the next edition of Eclipse Pro Wrestling. I'm your host, David Scheller, lead commentator, alongside Steven Anderson.
How are you doing tonight, Mr. Scheller?
I am excellent.
Great
Of course,
to
we are
hear.
joining you from Baltimore, Maryland.
Woohoo! Baltimore! It's great to be back in Baltimore. I believe we were here just not too long ago for our inaugural show, if I'm not mistaken. Great crowd. It's going to be a great night of action here for tonight's installment of Eclipse Pro Wrestling.
Indeed. Of course, starting off with the action, we are seeing none other than the Dragon Cheng Yu facing off with AJ Styles.
Looking forward for this match. This is going to be a debut for AJ Styles. Obviously, his track record speaks for himself, or speaks for itself, but Cheng Yu has made a name for himself, so to speak, within the last couple of weeks here at Eclipse Pro Wrestling. So this is going to be one hell of a banger of an opening bout.
Indeed. Of course, we are just now heading to the ring.
It's time to get tonight's party started. Let's light this candle, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Crowd on their feet in Baltimore.
Indeed. Seems AJ Styles does not want to wait as he appears on the ramp.
Oh! Well, that's one way to make your first impression.
Again, wearing the blindfold, I can't imagine what Cheng Yu avoiding the strikes. Can he see through that blindfold?
It could be he's got extra sensory. I mean, sometimes when, you lose one sense, your other senses become sharper. Wow.
It almost does. It's definitely checking the strikes or maybe even guesstimating where he is.
Right, predicting and anticipating his movements and his maneuvering. Good outing so far by Cheng Yu. Obviously, again, as I mentioned earlier, David, this is the debut of AJ Styles. So he's trying to make his impression felt. Yes, sir. Wow. Great outing so far between these two. Definitely curious about that beginning part there with AJ Styles, again, coming out from the back, not even waiting, just preemptive strike earlier at the beginning of this match. Cheng Yu doing a really good job, though, staying on top of AJ Styles. Clearly controlling the pace of this match up to this point.
It does seem like he's got eyes all around his head.
He must.
Cheng Yu is able to figure out where AJ Styles is hitting him.
He has to have some kind of extra sensory capabilities here for him to be blindfolded and to perform in such a way. It's quite distinguished, I should say, excuse me. Especially going up against somebody like AJ Styles. Very difficult to anticipate the man's move set. His caliber in the ring is quite astounding, if you will, phenomenal, if you will. But here at Eclipse Pro Wrestling, he's going to have to prove himself, going up against the current roster.
Of course, AJ Styles finishing off a sequence with a rather big move from the top row. But now, Cheng Yu being able to get his mask and vest off, could be looking for a much different run at things with that turn of events.
I gotta say, for having his mask off for that first leg of the match, for having his mask on, very impressive work, very impressive outing. So yeah, it begs the question, what kind of action are we going to see here now? As of now, it's quite impressive coming out of the likes of Cheng Yu. AJ Styles trying to do what he can, I think, to sort of change the tides of this match into his favor. Again, Cheng Yu, for the most part, in my opinion, really dominating, controlling the pace of the match. First of all, he's got more experience than AJ Styles within the realm of Eclipse Pro Wrestling. Again, this is AJ's debut, so, it begs the question, how ready he is for what's in store for him here at Eclipse Pro Wrestling.
Certainly seems Cheng Yu getting a lot of power into that superplex to the outside. Seems AJ Styles been able to rally just a bit.
Well, and that's what he's been looking for quite a while now. It's nice to see that he's found his footing, if you will. There he goes. You see him taking a minute to celebrate. Not it may be the best idea for him, as it didn't really pay off in the long run. But, yeah, it was nice to see that he was able to get some kind of offense there for a while.
Notice quite a fair few attacks on the lumbar region of AJ Styles by the Dragon, Cheng Yu.
Yeah, and
do you think that has any significance?
I think it does. I mean, we were seeing once this match started and it got into the ring, Cheng Yu was throwing some of those kicks that you were mentioning earlier, and we saw him again just a few seconds ago to the lumbar, as you mentioned. I think it definitely will have an effect on AJ Styles, if it hasn't already had an impact on him. Of course, now it's with this current leg of the match, it seems to be a lot more back and forth. Like I said earlier, AJ, I think, caught his footing, and while Cheng Yu is pretty much still in control of this match, I would say, it's definitely been more balanced in this leg here. Ooh. Cheng Yu going for those pin attempts. See, you have time. When you have time to celebrate and you're dominating the match, that makes more sense.
Walking in the calf crusher, a last-ditch effort by AJ Styles, perhaps.
Uh-oh. Very good ring position. I mean, it's unless he can get that leg on the rope. Ooh, that was a smart way to get out of that. Going back to talking about those kicks to the lumbar, obviously that was an elbow to what appeared to be the back of the neck. But he's been attacking that backside of AJ throughout this match very effectively.
Perhaps even the effect on the Styles clash, trying to channel a lot of power through the lumbar region to get the opponent up.
Oof, big swing and a miss there. And I got to tell you, though, I mean, this has been really a great opening bout for tonight's card here at Eclipse Pro Wrestling. Both of these competitors have really been putting on one hell of a fight, one hell of a show, giving everything that they have. AJ Styles has so much to prove, in my opinion, because, again, this is his first match. Those kicks to the face that we just saw were absolutely brutal, by the way.
Could that be lights out for AJ Styles? No, getting the shoulder up.
Oh, that was close. I mean, wow.
Indeed.
Definitely, like I was saying earlier, both of these men have been putting up a great fight. I mean, since the very beginning, with AJ coming out with that preemptive strike, if you will, to Cheng Yu really starting to control the pace of the match, and then seeing AJ regain his footing and having his offensive drive, and seeing this back and forth between these two. So up to this point, I mean, it's been one, like I said, hell of a banger of an opening bout to start off tonight's action.
Traps in the single leg Boston, working over the legs of Cheng Yu. That's trying to dismantle the kicking power.
Not the best ring position, though. I mean, right there by the ropes. Not enough to get the job done. Valiant effort, though, from AJ Styles, no question about it. More of those kicks, too, from Cheng Yu. Those have been extremely effective in this match. They have worn AJ Styles down, I truly believe. What's up, Brodels? 311. Thanks for joining. Just tuning in. This is our first bout of the night out of Baltimore, Maryland for Eclipse Pro Wrestling. AJ Styles making his debut going up against Cheng Yu, and it's been one hell of a match to this point. These two men are going back and forth now at this point, and it's been really a great opening bout for two.
Reversed an attempt at the Styles clash there. Kicked him in the head, but he gets the shoulder up.
Cheng Yu's been really good, though, about getting those pin attempts, going after those pin attempts, staying on top of AJ Styles. But at the same time, the other side of that coin, David, is that AJ Styles has, been able to sustain the beating that he's been getting, and he's been putting out his own beating as well. But Cheng Yu's definitely dominated or controlled the pace of this match for the most part. Now AJ trying to make his dominance shown.
AJ making a bit of an offensive drive here, as you would say.
Yep, and I think that's he found the opportunity, and he basically just capitalized on it, saw the chance, and then went for it. But here we're seeing Cheng Yu really kind of do that reversal of that offensive drive, as he's been staying on top of AJ Styles. Wow, that was impressive. I did not expect him to get up that quickly.
A second Superman punch.
Yep.
No.
Oh.
It's starting to
Unbelievable.
really feel like the bottom of the ninth.
I mean, you can see the reaction from Cheng Yu wondering is like, what is it going to have to take? And I mean, going to back what I was saying earlier about AJ making his debut here, he's got every reason to, give 110% here, as this is his debut. He wants to make it a positive first impression.
There's that flying roundhouse once again.
Oh.
No. Gets the shoulder up.
I think that split AJ opened.
What could this be now? The final exclamation mark. Spinning back heel.
That looks very painful to the face. So very well executed.
And that's the final stamp needed by the Dragon.
Wow, that was a good opening match, I gotta say. Both competitors really did put on a good show there. Beautiful maneuvering that we're seeing in those replays there from both competitors in this match. AJ Styles just wasn't the better man at this juncture.
Indeed.
It's good for Cheng Yu. Cheng Yu has a reason to celebrate now. I mean, AJ Styles getting a win over AJ Styles, regardless of it being his debut in Eclipse Pro Wrestling or not, it's something to celebrate.
Indeed. Of course, getting his mind over that confrontation with Shinsuke Nakamura earlier in the week. Wonder if he's backstage.
Yeah, it makes one wonder. Like you said, there was that interaction with them last week, and I was actually, it looked like he's cleared his mind of it based on something that we just saw Cheng Yu.
Indeed, able to put in a terrific performance against AJ Styles. Of course, now we turn to Fearce, making his in-ring debut against the debuting Bad Luck Fale. Of course, Fearce made his feelings towards Balor well known last week, looking to send a message this week.
Yeah, he definitely made his impression felt, an impact with his involvement, interaction or engagements, if you will, with Finn Balor. But as you mentioned, it's both their in-ring debuts, their single in-ring debuts. So it's looking forward to seeing these two go tit for tat. Fearce definitely has a chip on his shoulder, I think, after last week. Don't you think?
The size differential in this match could be all it takes, but Fearce is an unknown quantity in the ring so far, whereas Bad Luck Fale's record is quite well known, not a traditional wrestler by any means.
Absolutely not. I think that's part of what's gonna make this a great match here.
I'd also like to thank everybody for tuning in. Appreciate all the support.
Bad Luck Fale is coming in at 6'4", 345 pounds. It's quite a big size advantage, I would think, there over Fearce. Baltimore, Maryland on their feet.
Almost like a complete change of tone here.
Here we go. Loving this entrance. Very, very mysterious, very intriguing, quite a compelling individual is Fearce.
Seems Bad Luck Fale's on his way up the ramp.
Well, we're seeing a lot of aggression tonight, or a lot of preemptive actions here tonight by the competition here. First match and second match, now we're seeing this. People just aren't willing to wait to get into the ring here. Oh,
Pre-match assaults seem to be a matter of the hour.
Fearce is going to have to overcome that size advantage that Bad Luck Fale has. Again, him being 6'4", 345 pounds. Wow. But don't underestimate Fearce at all. Like I said, we saw a little bit of what he could do last week. The bigger they are, the harder they fall, and that is no different for Bad Luck Fale. Oof, my goodness. What a good back and forth this has been. I got to tell you, I'm very impressed up to this point with how well Fearce has been composing himself in this match. Even when Bad Luck Fale gets a strike in there, to this point, Fearce has been able to overcome his attempts to advance in the match. And this is a great position for Fearce right now.
Straight into the side effect there.
He's been all over Bad Luck Fale. Fearce has been all over him in this match. Wow.
Yes, leaves Fale laying.
That was... I feel bad for Bad Luck Fale on that one. He was just outpaced, out-wrestled, outperformed by Fearce almost completely during that match.
Oh no, is that Bella?
Here we go. There we go. Getting ready for last week. Oh.
Oh no, could be lining him up for the side effect as well.
Finn Balor could have made a mistake
Damn.
coming out here. Unbelievable.
Fearce sending that statement to Bell, perhaps the statement he wanted to send last week.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we saw those two interact last week. Like you said at the beginning, before the beginning of this match that we just saw, he was trying to send a message, and he sent a message again tonight, not only with his victory over Bad Luck Fale, but just now with his second interaction with Balor here.
Of course, now we come to the third of 4 Eliminator entry matches between Los Ingobernables de Japon and the Silhouettes of Redemption.
Yeah, this is going to be a good match. This is the second time that we're seeing Silhouettes of Redemption in a tag team, in a tag team bout here. This is the first time that we're going to be seeing, Sonata and Evil. But last time we saw Silhouettes of Redemption, they went up against Evil and Sonata's Japanese brethren, the Bullet Club, and SOR got the W there.
Indeed. SOR potentially looking to upset another Japanese favorite.
Well, they're no stranger to these uphill battles, so I think this is going to be a good match. I love tag team wrestling. I think it's the superior. You see superior wrestling in those tag team matches, those tandem bouts. Again, this is only the second time we're seeing SOR, but they made their impression felt against the Bullet Club. So let's see what they can do against LIJ here tonight.
Won't be long before now heading to the ring.
I'm expecting that. I wouldn't be surprised if there was another preemptive strike. Everybody's on this preemptive strike thing tonight, which, hey, I don't blame them. Whatever you can do to get to get an upper hand in a situation or get an upper hand in a match, I mean, use whatever you can within the realm of reason.
Well, very interestingly, both AJ Styles and Bad Luck Fale both initiating their preemptive strikes and both coming up short in their matches.
That's a very good observation. You're absolutely right. Both of them did that in haste, I believe, and it did not pay off for them in the long run, as we saw. Ow.
Very solemn as LIJ come to the ring.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. Quite morose-looking individuals, if you will. Deadly serious, not just with their masks, but with their demeanor, their composure, how they carry themselves.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in.
Absolutely. Thank you all for tuning in, or whether you're watching a replay or what have you. Thank you so much. We appreciate the support. And we're going into our third match of tonight's card here from Baltimore, Maryland.
Indeed. Of course, this match is all about the entry to the Eliminator 4-way. I believe it's next week.
Yep, there is, like you said, it's this would be for that 8-man tournament, if I'm not mistaken. Part of that 8-man tournament. Or 18.
What tournament, sorry?
This is part of that 8-team tournament.
Oh, no. So we had qualifiers for the Eliminator, and then the Eliminator determines the 2 contenders, and the winner gets to pick the stipulation.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, that's spicy. Silhouettes of Redemption making their impression felt right now. I want to know who does his hair. Those pink and blonde stripes are very clashy with the rest of the black hair.
You're looking for fashion chips?
Yes, yes. Well, you know, I wouldn't. Yeah, I always got an open ear for fashion tips. I like to think I'm a part of the zeitgeist. Definitely a strong
Looking for
outing.
an early submission.
Yeah, I was gonna say very strong outing so far by LIJ. And I mean, this is their debut here in Eclipse Pro Wrestling. Only Silhouettes of Redemption's second match. So I mean, it's fair game here. I mean, it could go either way. Both are great teams, so it's going to be one hell of a barn burner.
Dez taking a moment to pose over Evil.
Yeah, and you know, I have my mixed opinions about fanfare like that. You know, because there's always a time and a place, and it can come and bite you in the ass if you don't spend your time wisely when you have an opponent in a situation like that. Ooh. Good, smart move, I think, for Drek to get out of the ring when he did just then. Of course, those swings, those kind of things can't happen.
The side to belly overhead suplex.
Very well
again. Taking Shinoda all around the shop.
Very well executed both times. Drek now tagging in Dez. And that's what I like about these tag team matches there. I mean, now we're seeing a tag by or we just saw a tag there by LIJ. You know, that's a very important component to any tag team, is having that kind of chemistry, that rapport, that ability almost to telepathically communicate, and knowing when to tag in your partner and when to have tandem maneuvering formed. Physical prowess being shown there by Dez as he just suplexes. Drek's not afraid of any. Drek's being a little cocky, I think. That's okay though. He's got reasons to be.
The referee not expelling, or not in any rush to dispel Dez from competition.
It's been great matchup so far between these two teams. Again, with LIJ making their debut, and this being Silhouettes of Redemption's second Japanese opponent, it's been a short road for SOR, but it's been a tough one, no doubt. This match so far has been, in my opinion, pretty good back and forth between both teams. And if Drek can get more of those reversals in like that we just saw earlier, then that's really gonna pay off there in the long run.
Pulling Evil back into the ring.
That's the thing here. So far, I mean, at least in this match so far, I think Dez and Evil have had a good back and forth. Now, obviously, we're seeing Sonata, but up to this point, great maneuvering, great show of, like I said earlier, physical prowess by Dez, but a good back and forth nonetheless. I mean, LIJ they're no slouch. This has not been a squash at all, in my opinion.
Dez doubling it up for a second there. Oh,
very well done. Oh,
reversal into the power slam. Damn, I thought that could have been Sonata's night rocked.
That could be it. Nope. Very well done, though. Very attentive and very smart, quick of Dez to be able to pull that off. That looked brutal. Now I don't know if you just saw that, but I thought that was a slow count by that ref. That count looked slow to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just seeing things. Dez loving that corner tonight, and it's paying off for him. Good opportunity to make the tag. Oh! Cardiac collision.
And then insult to injury afterwards.
Very well done by Silhouettes of Redemption.
Indeed. Very good at keeping their eye on both opponents.
Yep, they were both very attentive, very aware of their surroundings, conscious of what was going on. Great effort by LIJ. I mean, there was some good maneuvering and back and forth by Evil and Sonata in that match. Don't get me wrong. It's just SOR was, I think, more in tune with each other as a tag team and utilized that, as you see there in that replay, to get the victory here tonight.
Indeed.
So, of course, they have every reason to be happy right now. Dez and Drek celebrating. Don't blame them whatsoever.
They will be joining the Young Bucks and the OG Club in the Eliminator.
It's going to be one hell of a match.
And of course, just reminding everyone on the rules for the Eliminator match, both members of the team have to be pinned or submitted to eliminate the team.
That's right. So you can't just eliminate one member of a tag team and that tag team's gone. No, there'll still be representation in an event like that. You got to pin both members.
Of course, now we come to the next match made after a challenge made by Esselmania to Cruz.
This is going to be an interesting match. Looking forward to seeing it. Now, personally, I think Esselmania has more to gain in this match, just based on some of the previous outings that we've seen from him. I think that he's probably more I would hope that he's more thirsty for a victory in this case, but we'll have to wait and see. Cruz is no slouch.
Of course, both these men are 0-1, looking to go 1-1. Esselmania facing off with CM Punk.
Yes.
With Cruz facing off with Kota Ibushi.
As you mentioned, they're both 0-1. They both took losses in those bouts. I think Esselmania's was a little bit more of a beatdown than Cruz's, if I remember correctly. So, that's why I focused on what I was saying there about him kind of wanting to be thirsty for more to get that victory. But they both have that same win-loss record, so they're both probably in that same mindset. It's just who's a matter of who's going to be the biggest and fastest.
Esselmania saying it's time for the Essel era to begin.
I love it. The Essel era. That's catchy. That's clever. And he's looking very positive right now, very confident in himself. That's the right mindset that you want going into a match like this. Of course. It will be interesting to see what both men bring to tonight's competition here between one another.
Of course, both these men have a fair bit of history with each other. Essel, the current Renegade champion on PWE, facing off with the world champion, Cruz.
And that's a very good point, actually, David, because, I mean, like you said, these men are no stranger to one another. They're no stranger to competition. They have history. They have experience. So I think this is going to be a great match considering those factors, and also considering the fact that both these men, as you said earlier, David, have a win-loss record of 0-1. So both of them have everything to gain and also everything to lose, almost literally.
Of course, both men also having quite interesting entrances.
Couldn't agree with you more. I mean, Esselmania's entrance was quite a spectacle, very electrifying, high energy. Pardon me. Uh-oh.
Cruz cutting off Esselmania at the legs there.
Very
Esselmania
smart.
Looking to start off another pre-match brawl.
And again, for tonight in particular, every time we've seen those preemptive attempts, it's not paid off in the long run for those people. Oh my goodness, Esselmania is not off to a good start, but there's still plenty of ball game left in this ball club, as they say. It's a knockoff Kenny. Ooh, beautiful maneuver there by Esselmania. Of course, Cruz is the kind of guy where you and I think Esselmania knows this, but one of those guys you got to stay on top of like white on rice in a snowstorm. And that's what I'm kind of, you're seeing here just right now as he's pummeling on him. Oof. Now,
Finally gets off the gear, but both keeping the sunglasses on.
I was just gonna say about that. Cruz still had his gear on. Although the last time we saw Esselmania, he kept his glasses on.
Did indeed against CM Punk.
Wow. Unforgiving. A series of strikes there by Esselmania while he was straddled on top of Cruz like that. These two better be careful. It's dangerous on the outside of the ring there. Oh, God.
Just slaying him with those German suplexes.
So close to being an even worse situation. There's been at least 2 out of those 3 German suplexes were so close to being on the steel steps there. Lucky for Esselmania, because that could have been a lot worse. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was still probably very brutal on that outside of the ring, that floor there, but could have been a lot worse. Good for Esselmania for being able to bounce back.
This one you're looking for something from the top rope. Oh no! Is that Tamatonga?
What the? What is this?
Gunstone!
But why?
Of course. I don't even know what. Was there something backstage we missed?
I think so, because I'm a
Tamatonga
little
and-
confused.
Tamatonga and Cruz clearly not getting along. Esselmania and Cruz not getting along. I'm at a loss for words.
So am I. I'm just as shocked as you are. I'm not really sure how to process what we just saw. Again, I feel like we're missing something. There must have been something that had happened. I agree that something's not making sense here. We're missing a piece of the puzzle.
Anyway, we need to get these guys cleared out. We do have our next and final qualifier for the Eliminator.
That's right. We got Gun.
Unfortunately, Esselmania, the referee's decision is final, and that was clear disqualification.
Yeah, I sympathize with Esselmania there. I mean, that sometimes that happens. It's out of your control. I mean, I agree with you, David. It was just a DQ that was not in Esselmania's favor. It was a good outing, though.
Got to wonder if Esselmania had anything to do with Tamatonga appearing there.
Well, yeah, to
Perhaps
your point,
a distraction gone wrong.
it makes you wonder because I'm still trying to piece the whole pie together to figure out why that happened that way. This is going to be a good second
winner
tag
of
team.
Suzuki-Gun versus Blood Moon will be headed to the final spot of that Eliminator match.
Right, which, as you mentioned earlier, contains Silhouettes of Redemption, Young Buck, and the OG Club.
The OG Club, or the Good Brothers.
Yep, whatever you want to call them. Gallows and Anderson, what have you. Thank you, Essel. I sympathize with your plight, my friend.
Esselmania apparently furious backstage.
He's got every reason to be. He has every reason to be upset right now.
I'm also getting another. There's been another brawl backstage. Cheng Yu and Shinsuke Nakamura getting into it backstage, but Tanahashi and Styles playing mediators.
Really? That's surprising. I mean, as far as AJ Styles and Tanahashi, I'm saying.
It is a night of chaos here tonight. Pre-show attacks, backstage attacks, people with cut-off mics trying to sing.
Yes. We don't have the heart to tell them how bad they are at singing, so we just cut off their mics and let them feel good about themselves.
Always very funny to see Zack Sabre Jr. trying to be intimidating.
Suzuki-Gun making their entrance way, very much looking and toting a confident attitude as they come down the rampway there. And again, this is, as you mentioned, our last Eliminator entry bout for that tag team bout we were talking about. So there's a lot on the line here for Blood Moon or Suzuki-Gun. Blood Moon coming out with their fair share of energy. Definitely a chip in their shoulder or spring in their step, if you will, as they make
Shoulder
their
blades
way.
that would block out the sun on Garrett Vera.
Oh, shit.
I've got to say that almost 8-foot behemoth will definitely be the deciding factor in this match.
I was going to ask, how tall is he? Do we have a record stat on him? Because that is... I'm just comparing his size there. You said he's
7
close...
and a bit, I'd have to say. I'm not 100% sure.
God. That's a big size right there. Definitely going to be an advantage for them in this match as we kick things off here.
Locking up early for the vertical. It'll be interesting to see how the technicians really battle it out.
It's going to be, I think outside, I think you're right. It's going to come down to the technicians. Or, I mean, you know, there's that size advantage, too, on the other side. So, I mean, there's two components here that I think are going to work in their favor. It's just a matter of who's going to come out on top. Only time will tell. Of course, those chops that we were seeing just a bit ago there looking pretty brutal.
Pretty back and forth between Pat Downs and Zack Sabre Jr. so far.
Definitely no surprise there. I mean, you know, like I said earlier, both of these teams have a lot to gain in this situation, given the stipulations, or the consequences of winning or losing this match, I should say. Very well performed and maneuvered there.
Zack Sabre Jr. throwing Tai Chi into Pat Downs.
Yeah, literally throwing him like a rag doll.
Very impressive from Zack Sabre Jr. Not someone that's actually known much for his power game.
Gonna be
Showing
interesting
Tai
to
Chi the
see.
business here.
Oh yeah, showing him the business and staying on top of him in the process. Already a few good tags in this matchup so far from both teams. Keeping the freshman in as best as possible. That's a good strategy.
Very interesting how we haven't seen a tag from Blood Moon just yet.
Right. Well, right, but that's what I'm saying. We're seeing it on the Suzuki-Gun side, which, you know, again, that's an important aspect to any tag team bout is having that having that comfort level of knowing when to switch table, you know, to tag in your teammate. We haven't seen that yet from that team. So, you know, there's still plenty of time left, but, you know, he's going to burn himself out if he doesn't make a tag soon.
Pat Downs fancies himself quite like Roderick Strong in terms of his stamina. I wonder if he can keep up. Maybe he's trying to prove something here tonight.
Yeah, it almost comes off that way because it's, you know, like to your point, why hasn't he made any attempt here to tag in his partner? And why is he being so? It's to your point. It seems like he is trying to make a statement here, prove something.
Whoa, that spinning kick, rocking Zack Sabre Jr. there.
Yeah, ZSJ going down very quickly from that kick there, but getting up relatively quickly too. And I'm now that you've mentioned it, I'm fixated on it. I'm wondering, where's the tag? Where's the tag for Blood Moon? I mean, now's a perfect time. Not to say that he needs to, but he really. I mean, well, now it would have been better a few minutes ago, but. Begs the question, what is going on in his mind right now? I mean, very well performed there as he really kind of controls the match. There we go. I mean, even though it's not a tag, at least we see some support there coming in on the Blood Moon side.
Seems like he's determined to match himself against both of Suzuki-Gun.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, there's been no attempt at all for him to make a tag, and he's been against both members of Suzuki-Gun here from the very start of this match. I mean, I lost count of the amount of tags that have gone between Suzuki-Gun, but absolutely zero on the Blood Moon side. I will tell you,
and they're going for a superplex.
Oh, God. Very well done. Yeah, I'm telling you, for not making a tag and being in this match for so long, I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing. But I don't understand why.
Like a code of silence almost.
Uh-oh. There we go.
Submission attempt here.
Very good, but oh. Not going to be enough, unfortunately. Great outing, though. I mean, honestly, has not been the best tag team match, only because Blood Moon has not been working as a tag team at all in this matchup. Suzuki-Gun, however, has.
Oh, the leg lariat across the road. Taichi doing some damage now.
You're absolutely right, David. That looked like it hurt real bad. Landing that head there, right on that side of the ring there.
Pat down, snapping, jumping up, but getting the dirt kicked back at him. Tags in the big man.
There we go. I was wondering if it was even going to happen. I was starting to speculate. But you know what? I guess there's always a time and a place to bring in your big guns, and he found that time, and that's now, and that big gun is doing its thing. Now going after Zack Sabre Jr. And, I mean, just showing his physical prowess, that size. I mean, comparing him to Zack Sabre is like, I mean, apples and oranges. Wow. Great performance we're seeing from...
Oh, Jesus. Taking him across the suplex highway.
Yep, those suplexes are looking brutal. And I mean, if you watching those suplexes that he just did, I mean, it really is very easy to see the size differential or the size delta between those two. I mean, my God, Garrett is huge. Wow. Did you see that by Pat Downs?
Jesus, I think there was a military press slam into the shooting star press.
Very well done. I got to tell you, Pat Downs was the majority in that match as far as the Blood Mood side, but when Derek came in, he did what he had to do and got the job done, and that was a great way to get the victory with Pat Downs with that off the top turnbuckle maneuver.
And a military press slam into the shooting star press, also known as the Blood Moon Drive.
I love that. That's very well appropriately named.
Delivers them the victory and the final spot in the Eliminator match. Saw a lot coming from these two tonight. Pat Downs going the distance. Garrett Vera bearing the power. I can only imagine what they can do together and separately in that Eliminator match.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be something that only time can tell, but I'm looking forward to that 4-team elimination match. That's going to be one hell of a barn burner, without question.
Indeed. Just as we head into our next match, we'll just recap how all 4 teams got in. The Young Bucks qualified by counting out the Holy.
Right, that was last week.
The OG Club hit the Magic Killer on the War Raiders to pick up the pinfall victory. We saw the Cardiac Collision by the Silhouettes of Redemption to put them into the Eliminator, as well as the Blood Moon Drive to put Blood Moon into the match. It's very interesting to see how each of them compare.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Those 4 teams, Silhouettes of Redemption, Blood Moon, Young Bucks, OG Club, there's a lot of similarities and a lot of differences that you could say between those 4 teams. I think it's going to be definitely one to remember, especially considering the stipulation that it's a 4-way eliminate or 4 tag team elimination match.
Of course, this match is for the final. Oh, actually, no, not the final spot. For the 3rd spot in the women's fatal 4-way at New Moon. They'll be joining Alexa Bliss and Lady Hawk in that match.
That's right. So this is
as
you mentioned, the 3rd slot.
First women's match on Eclipse Broadcasting against Alexa Bliss. It'll be very interesting to see if she can punch her ticket to the pay-per-view as well.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, the first women's match here at Eclipse Pro Wrestling was Lil M and Alexa Bliss, and it was a good match, but Lil M was the better of the 2 in that outing, and it just happened to be, as we went through subsequent cards and subsequent matches, that we saw Alexa Bliss kind of, not sneaking away. She legitimately got her opportunity to be considered in or have her contention in that fatal 4-way that we saw, where she was leveraging a lot of weapons. So this is going to be an interesting match. Deonna Purrazzo is no slouch. I've been saying that a lot tonight, but she's definitely a good competitor in the ring when it comes to being able to perform here. So while this is the first time we're seeing Deonna here in Eclipse Pro Wrestling, it's going to be one hell of an uphill battle, I think, for both competitors.
Indeed, Deonna Purrazzo making her way to the ring, the virtuoso, technical wrestler by any means. Very interesting to see if she can try and trap up Little M, or if Little M will bring the 5 feet of fury he can.
That 5 feet of fury is definitely nothing to be underestimated. Wow. What a way to kick things off here between these two competitors. Wow. Little M very confident.
Little M has a history of quite quick matches, making short work of a lot of her opponents.
Little M is doing a great job up to this point, staying on top of Deonna. Obviously now we're seeing that's not sort of long-lasting. Deonna getting her kicks in and her moments in there, but very good back and forth so far here. What is Little M thinking, I'm wondering, during this match? You know, I remember when we saw Alexa Bliss get her win in that fatal four-way that we saw in a previous show, and get her name into that women's title scene, or at least, you know, contention. How angry she must have been. I think she's taking that anger out in this matchup here.
Little M definitely not holding anything back. We saw 2 turn-ins and a curb stomp that she learnt from Reska.
Definitely not holding anything back is the right strategy for her, for both competitors in this case, because there's something of value really on the line, more than just having a W in your win-loss record, right? So I think Len, like I said, we've seen her before in Eclipse, obviously, you know, in the opening bout with Alexa. But can she overcome Deonna here?
Powerbomb down into the pinning position. And that's all it wrote. That's all she wrote.
Wow, you said it earlier. She's got these histories, Little M has a history of quick matches, and this one was no different at all. I mean, really staying on top of Deonna and staying consistently aggressive with her, controlling the pace of the match. Little M getting the victory there. Good for her. Well deserved.
Indeed. I don't believe that Fatal 4-Way would be a quick match by any means, but Little M has punched her ticket and will be joining Alexa Bliss and Lady Hawk.
That just leaves one open slot left, if I'm correct.
Of course, that does only leave us with our main event this evening. The Aussie Assassin TJC taking on the master of the bow and arrow lock, David Wise.
It's going to be one hell of a main event. David Wise has made one hell of a impact so far in Eclipse Pro Wrestling, but you could say that TJC has also made some pretty impressive. We've seen some a pretty impressive outing from him just recently. You know, proving that size isn't everything.
Of course, TJC is stepping up to the plate after a necessary replacement was made. David Wise, current contender, defending it against TJC, not dissimilar to last week where we saw Tommaso Omega defending the belt against Kenta.
Definitely, that was some choice action that you're referring to. It feels like yesterday, almost like that we were just starting Eclipse Pro Wrestling. There's been so much good action and so many good bouts up to this point by a lot of the competitors that we've been seeing, especially tonight. So a lot of history has been written up to this point. TJC, man, the way that he just he looks like he just does not care, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm saying that in a good way. He definitely looks very, very focused, very sharp right now.
Just seeing the silhouette is an intimidating presence.
Well, I could definitely agree with that. There's a lot to interpret with the silhouette. And TJC, it works for him. And like I said, he's proving that it's not all about size. I mean, this guy is a real raw talent, in my opinion. Going to be interesting to see him competing up against somebody like David Wise. Again, this is for number 1 contendership. Yeah, number 1 contendership for the Eclipse World Championship.
Of course, the other contendership held by none other than CM Punk. Very interesting to see which one of these men steps up to the plate. Pay-per-view only a few weeks away.
Yeah. It's going to be the first pay-per-view, right?
What was that, sorry?
Said they're going to be... that match will take place at the first pay-per-view, right?
Yes, that will be... all the championship matches will be decided on pay-per-view.
Looking forward to that. It'll obviously we've been building up to that point with all the shows we've been doing up to this point. And again, I want to thank everybody for watching, whether it's live or watching a replay. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight out of Baltimore, Maryland. Kick off the main event here of tonight's show. Wow. Already in and out of the ring, these two go.
We did actually hear a bit about this on Eclipse Power Hour. TJC saying he was going to be employing a bit of a touch and go tactic against David Wise, knowing quite a fair bit of his submission game involves being close and up front. Putting him down and getting out of the way is the way to go.
David Wise, not in the best shape, or not looking the best up to this point in this match so far. TJC really kind of having his way up to this point.
Does seem this is not where he'd want to be. Inside one of the locks. Inside a submission attempt. Fighting his way out.
Definitely looking forward to seeing. I mean, we've already seen some of it I think TJC is being very strategic, very smart in this match. You know, exiting the ring, getting in and out of the ring at the right times. Obviously, it's not entirely paying off for him always, as we're seeing here, but I
feel like TJC has spotted his moment, throwing David Wise back into the ring. Now it's looking to lay on the offensive now.
Definitely one hell of a main event between these two. You know, I don't have a particular favorite here, in my personal opinion. Both of these men that are competing right now have shown and proven, at least to me, as I've commentated the shows here, that they deserve to be where they are right now. Come on here. What's it going to take for either one of these competitors? See, again, you know, I mean, there we saw just a few seconds ago with TJC sliding in and out of the ring like that. I mean, it's
very interesting how he's very up front with a, well, rather larger competitor, but now facing, say, maybe a smarter competitor who's adopting a stronger
I got to tell you, TJC, and I mentioned it before earlier in this matchup, that in my opinion, he's for the most part controlled the pace of the match, or I shouldn't say that way. I think he's been more strategic in how he's approaching David Wise in this match. Whereas David Wise, I think, is being more in your face. So, for instance, we're seeing TJC exit the ring a lot. I think he's playing some kind of mind games with David Wise, in my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm just going off of what I'm seeing firsthand.
And a lot of damage that are on.
Smart of David Wise.
What he's got in plan here.
Find a way, an attack vector, or something that you can weigh down on, or to bring him down, to weigh him down, whether it's an arm, a leg.
Death Valley driver.
Wow.
Oh, near fall there off the Death Valley driver.
That could have been it. I mean, that was like 2.5 right there. David Wise obviously not happy about that. Good back and forth, though, between these two. And again, like I mentioned earlier, TJC, and this is why I say
oh no, the TJ cutter on the outside.
Oh!
I think David Wise bleeding now.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. TJC's sort of, in that regard, that's why I say he's sort of controlling the pace of the match. Even though we have seen David Wise with his offensive drives, you know, we're seeing TJC exit the ring, David Wise following him, you know, etc. So in that regard, I think that he's controlling the match. And oh my God, I thought that was 3.
That was close, I think. He just got up.
That I really thought that was 3.
There.
I really thought that was 3.
Oh no, the bow and arrow.
Oh
God.
God.
That was what TJC was dreading and slipped into a tactical submission. David Wise walking away with the victory.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you that David Wise earned that victory because TJC, in my opinion, put on one hell of an outing. And not to say David Wise did not. They both were great competitors tonight in this matchup, this main event here out of Baltimore, Maryland. But David Wise, better man right now.
Indeed. Of course, that has been our main event. Catch you again next week for another installment of stacked action.
Definitely so. Everybody, want to thank Deb for joining, watching us, whether it's live or a replay. Eclipse Pro Wrestling is always going to be putting on great shows, great action, and just absolute classic, great wrestling.
You can see David Wise bleeding. However, that has been everything for tonight. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in, whether live or on replay.
Absolutely.
I've been David Scheller. I've been joined by...
I've been Steven Anderson.
Indeed. This has been Eclipse Pro Wrestling, and until next week, good night.